The views expressed in this presentation are those of the hosts and guests and do not represent the views of any lodge, Grand Lodge, appended body, or any other person or persons whomsoever.
Brethren, we are at Refreshment.
I'll sit in the corner and look cool and be like, what up? That's me.
I don't want to talk about you either, Marty, but here we are.
Just because my style isn't death.
I truly regret this already.
I regret this.
A 10 of your faithful crust.
Oh man, it is great. I can feel this.
That's assuming anybody even watches the podcast.
Yeah.
5 minutes that I watched, I really did enjoy it.
Welcome to the Refreshment Masonic Video Podcast. I'm your host, something or another. Let's meet everyone else. We got...
Confirmed. You know who I am.
You know me from the missing scenes on many milk crates.
And I'm Illuminati-licious. So let's get right into it. Today we are going to be talking about martial arts and Freemasonry because at least I see that there's a connection there. I don't know about you guys, but I think there's a lot of things in it. Ritual, discipline, making yourself a better man or better person in general.
The discipline in that
Yeah,
factor
there is a
are
lot of
huge,
discipline when it comes to martial arts.
So I see a lot of it, and one guy I've been working with, I shouldn't just call him a guy, brother that I've been working with.
Oh, is it Jackie Chan?
Doing Tai Chi.
He ain't a brother.
I asked him, but he wasn't available. So
I think we just started the new
he
internet
was
rumor
jumping
that
through
Jackie
carts and
Chan's
stuff like that.
Illuminati,
Yeah, I
so-
know, right? Good job.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna bust in here one day, like
Is
knock
he-
the
is
crap
he
out of us.
brother?
Jackie Chan?
Yeah.
Sure. Shout out, brother Jackie Chan.
Wherever he is, someone give him a petition if he's not.
Yeah,
So,
we have just invitation to petition Jackie Chan. What's that movie he did with Chris Tucker?
What
Rush
movie
Hour.
wasn't it?
Rush Hour?
Yeah.
You go ahead. You go ahead and make another Rush Hour. The Masons would really appreciate it. Those were good movies.
Rush Hour 4.
Are they up to 4?
They already did 3, so 4 is the next number.
You heard it here first, Jackie Chan.
Jesus
The
Christ.
4th degree in Rush Hour. All right. Well, without further ado, let us introduce TJ Chan. Come on in, TJ.
Tommy!
Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it.
For having me. Pleasure, my brother.
Oh, yeah.
Pleasure.
Stupid thing. All right. Tell us your Masonic credentials before we get into
Masonic
the
credentials, I am the immediate past master of Ravenswood Lodge, number 777 out of Chicago, Illinois, in 2019. 6019, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Also the past monarch of El Jala Grotto during the same term, 2019.
More grotto guys. For you.
Gotta love the grotto. It's only a pendant body I belong to in Freemasonry.
Really? Oh, okay.
Haven't really expanded that further light just yet, per
Yeah.
se. But as you know, you've been to my house, you see the books I have on record.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well, so,
Yeah.
you know, internal studies are well profound. So
Good.
Cool. I didn't know you weren't part of any other appendant body. I could have swore I seen you at Scottish Rite, but it must have been like
it was an
one of those
event. I did partake when we did the Grandmaster's class for the first degree while I was senior warden. I actually was a senior warden for that participation part of the degree for the first degree when we did the Grandmaster's class.
Yeah,
last
that
was
summer.
very cool. A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I was there. I live near Scottish Rite, so I've gone to other stuff like the walk that they do to the
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
walk.
great walk.
Yeah, I love that walk.
What
I
about
did
the
it during.
speakeasy?
haven't been to a
Did
speakeasy.
you go to the speakeasy
I
at
did not go to the
Scottish Rite?
speakeasy.
It was
no.
cool.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Yeah.
I saw pictures of it. They
They
look
were
really,
dumping
they look
Master
really cool.
Masons.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was really neat. It was something to check out. So, I know your martial arts credentials go way beyond Freemasonry. I don't know if you can name them all. Well, I can't name them all, but
So I started training at the age of 5. First discipline.
5 years old, right?
5 years old, yes.
Wow.
not 5 months. Just wow.
5 years old. First discipline was Shotokan, which is the foundation of Japanese karate. Shotokan translated means house of the temple. So there's that formality there where you're building this foundation in martial arts, right?
Yeah.
Very, very popular Japanese style. I also learned at a young age, started learning Shaolin from a master who was part of Green Dragon Society. Green Dragon Society, obviously Green Dragon has a connection
You're 2 for 2.
to
Huh?
Masonry.
Yeah, like, right, yeah.
as well
I'm like,
as, you know.
This is sounding
Now,
Masonic.
was this guy an actual Shaolin?
He wasn't a Shaolin monk. He actually was a Prince Hall Mason.
Ah.
Personal side of it was he was a friend of the family. He was an African American. He makes Marty and Yoshi. Put Marty and Yoshi together. That's how big this guy was.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
He was
That's a
like
big boy.
300 and something pounds and just massive. He was a former Cook County Sheriff when I was younger, but he also was my
Really?
uncle's,
What's his name?
Juan Rico Williams.
Okay.
passed
If we have to
away.
block that out, we will. But
He passed away probably about, say, a good 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
In
That's
that
a shame.
range.
Okay.
It was
It was a
Sorry to
shame.
hear.
You know, he was a personal, like I said, personal friend of family. He was my uncle's bodyguard, per se. My uncle had a security business, and with all his activities that he was involved in, that was his personal bodyguard. Pretty much taught me how to, you know, break bricks at a very young age. When I turned, well, besides that, I also wrestled in grammar school, wrestled in high school, did some, you know, amateur boxing at the boys club and stuff like that in the neighborhood. Did different styles of studies with different, you know, schools, taekwondo, hapkido schools within the neighborhood growing up. I found this niche though at this place called Dragon Academy of Martial Arts. And this is going back now to when I was 12 years old. Give you a little idea, it's about 31 years ago.
just yesterday.
Just yesterday. Fair to say, a little over 3 decades. Grandmaster Zuniga was a grandmaster in Goju Ryu, which is another style of Japanese Okinawan martial arts. Goju Ryu was the discipline, if you guys ever heard of Yamaguchi, who was known as the Fighting Tiger. You can do some history looking up on that.
Tommy, I don't mean to interrupt you, and this isn't really a trolling type question, but the way you just pronounced that is very similar to the Japanese pronunciation of Godzilla, which is Gojira. Or is it like a similar meaning there?
Not necessarily. There's no interconnection between Godzilla and per se with martial arts.
No,
but
well, he means the name. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
names
Name
are
in
similar.
general.
So
yeah, there's no correlation. So
yeah, I
Yamaguchi.
don't remember Godzilla going.
All right, well, I already.
Oh, and you just blatantly went over, yeah, I used to break bricks. I'm like,
Yeah, I
you
used
said
to
that
break
so
bricks.
casually.
I know.
I know,
Holy
man. You did. You
smokes.
said that. So I was like,
He's like, used to break bricks, used to do a little street fighting,
Yeah.
little
I did a lot of
soldier
street
of
fighting,
fortune.
I mean,
Yeah.
growing up.
Before he came on, we made him do the dimmak.
No, but the word you used, which sounded like Gojira to me. What was it again?
Yamaguchi. Oh, Goju Ryu.
Yeah, what does that
Goju Ryu.
translate to?
So Goju Ryu translates to hard and soft. So there's a combination of this development in this martial arts style that's Goju.
That's a little
Rei,
darkness to light
and
there,
Ryu.
right, too. Same idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ryu is a terminology or a word that's phrased as spirit or energy or ki or chi, depending on what part of the region of
All right, hold
Asia
on.
you're from.
Are you ready to make? I'm gonna make myself sound like an idiot again.
That's
Ryu
hard.
was also a Street Fighter character.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Ayukin.
Ayukin. Actually, that's what he's doing in that Ayukin theory is he's throwing his chi at his opponent in the video game.
See, I always thought that, and it just never dawned on me.
So,
Okay, that makes sense now.
Stuff like that really is over exaggerated. Obviously, you see a lot of stuff in film that's over exaggerated. You know, there's people flying in movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Well, they do that all the time if you're on enough acid.
Yeah, that too.
well, really, in Asia though, like in Asian culture, especially during that time period, like martial artists, you know, and warriors of that nature, they were their superheroes.
Yes.
You know, so that's why when you see these martial arts movies and they're doing this like superhuman stuff, it's because that's their Batman, that's their Captain America's, you know,
Yeah.
and whatever, you know, fighting it out against, you know, their villains, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Isn't Deadpool a ninja?
I mean, he knows martial arts. I mean,
Well,
well,
just,
like,
they can't die.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know if he's a ninja, but
I mean, that's just like his getup, you know. And then, I mean, you know, he's a merc. Most mercs know like some sort of martial arts. You know, I mean, they just can't rely on, you know, just guns alone. You know, like any well-rounded warrior.
Assassin,
you know.
yeah.
Well, I think we should probably stop debating comic books and talk about the
yeah, I
actual
know, right?
fighter.
Actually, real fighting.
So,
So,
getting back to a little history, basically, and then we'll go on to what this actually means per se with Masonry, right? I mean, we already saw 2 for 2. I mean, we can go on the world on end
Yeah.
about,
oh yeah.
you know, the correlation of, again, like you guys said, just building character, building self-esteem, building self-respect, you know, just building ourselves in general, which is part of why we became Masons, and we'll get that.
Right.
We'll get back to that again, right? So, being part of this dojo, as dojo is a terminology for training hall in Japanese as well. Again, termed Dragon Academy of Martial Arts. It wasn't just strictly Goju Ryu. Like my grandmaster was in the military, like I mentioned to you. He met this gentleman who had a black belt in Aikido. They got together. They did jujitsu in the military together when they were overseas. So there was like this big blend. And this all happened again at the same time that, you know, Bruce Lee started becoming popular with Jeet Kune Do and the concepts of that and the theories behind it. So when this broadcast came to America back in the day, like in the 60s and 70s, during that time frame, everybody wanted to get involved. Everybody wanted to do it. But they wanted to do it for that whole, like, oh, I want to be cool. I want to fight. I want to defend myself. I want to be able to protect my family and stuff like that, you know? Which, yeah, there's a big part.
You know,
and that's-
everybody. I know as a kid, you know, everyone wanted to
Everybody
imitate
wanted to
Bruce
be
Lee.
Bruce Lee. You know that? You know that wonderful scream,
Yeah.
that yelp, that kia, as we
Yeah.
call, you know?
Yeah.
It's just basically you exerting your energy. You know what I'm saying? It's a breathing technique as well, as you know. I've mentioned certain things to you. So it's just building character in a sense. You know, you want to learn and you want to grow yourself, which is why, again, we became Freemasons. Like, I became a Freemason just under a decade ago, but I've been doing martial arts for 30-something years, and it's like the correlation between the two is vast.
Yeah, what you know connections do you see? I mean, wording, phrasing that you hear that you connect Freemasonry spiritually with martial arts spiritually.
So, in Freemasonry, obviously, we have rituals, and we have forms and movements and stuff like that, right? In martial arts, as you're training, you have what you call rituals. You have what you call forms and movements, katas.
Yeah.
Katas is a form of dance using, you know, offensive
Yeah.
techniques to mark your opponents. However, you grow into that aspect and that attitude of like building yourself mentally. As you build yourself mentally, you're training yourself physically. There's this concept of mind and body is what equals our souls and our spirit.
Yeah.
You know, it's a correlation that's tied in together. So whether you're, say for instance, even if you're a golfer,
Yeah.
you know, you're sitting there, you're training, you're focusing, you're dedicated to that, you know, tee, whatever it is, you're dedicated to making that hole in one, you're dedicated to making that putt. You know, that same concept mentally, that concept that goes into it with the physical part as well, is what combines your spirit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, like you said, darkness and light involved with the yin and yang. It's a concept
like
that's
martial arts.
tied together.
When I was younger, what was the name? Not Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
movie, too.
That was a good
That's a
flick.
great movie. Great movie.
Frank Dukes.
Frank Dukes was,
Yeah, no.
that was Jean-Claude. Now, ironically, Jean-Claude was a gymnast turned martial artist. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Oh, he was?
He was
Yeah.
an
Oh,
Olympic
okay.
gymnast.
That I did not know.
They like, oh, you got some character. Let's teach you how to do a couple kicks. And he's grown to the aspect to where he's become a full-fledged, respectable martial arts in his own right. You know.
The timer went off. So you guys are looking at it down. I'm not gonna. So, all right. Just do one of these when we're getting close.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
You sure?
I didn't know if we were live or not there.
No, yeah, we are. My phone.
And I'm
went off,
just
so I didn't
talking
see
on
the time.
end, yeah.
No.
So there is key concepts of meditation, obviously, right? Anybody that is a firm believer in a higher power of some sort, there's meditation involved. Meditation is the equivalency of what we call prayer in certain religions or
Yeah.
aspects, you know?
Meditation is really one of those binding keys that everything you look forward, there's always self-contemplation or looking within. And that goes with martial arts, masonry, really any theosophical thing that you could really do.
Okay.
Even so much, if you play football, the huddle, taking a knee, it's all the same concept.
Yeah.
You have that minute to bring all your energy together, to bring your thoughts together, then you do it. It's
And to
wild.
clear your head, you know, that's the main thing. You know, in any kind of a sport, you know, you need to have that clear mind. You know, you have to have, you know, you work on your body so much, being an athlete. You know, but you also have to, you know, the body can't work without the mind. You know, so you got to have that. You know, when you before anything. When I studied a few things, and before every class, you know, the first like 10 to 15 minutes, we would sit in meditation, you know, and clear our heads before we started, you know, whatever, you know, we were doing that day, you know. So I get that. I get that a lot.
It's one of the concepts we had every time we walked into the dojo was you leave everything that happened on that day, you leave it at the door.
Yep.
You come in, you come with a clear attitude.
Yep.
You
Yes.
warm up, you stretch, you
Yep.
meditate.
Yep.
You gotta actually breathe when you do, because if not, you'll just defeat the whole purpose
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, when when I was taking Kempo Karate and Sistema, the teacher would always, all right, it was always something different. Doing this or just
Yep.
loosening up, get that energy out, because
Yep.
we don't want in here, not that, anybody's really bringing anything, but to give you the idea that leave everything in the outside world out there. In here, you're here for this. You're here to learn just this.
Wow, it
So-
seems very
And that's
similar
that
to Masonry.
same connection
Yeah.
again, coming back to
Yeah.
Masonry.
Yeah.
Where-
Holy smokes.
We're,
Yeah,
we're
that's
builders
what I
of
see,
selves. We're builders of selves in that sense where we're building our character, and again, you can take anything to help you build your character, but the more detailed and depth that you learn and do it, then you would, go on and, find,
Right.
find a more connection to it as well.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things when it comes to meditation, martial arts, and even Freemasonry, even though we don't talk about it in our lodges, but there's a real deep connection. I don't know how to say it or put my finger on it, but I can see it. I just don't know how to explain it.
Right.
And, talking to you, I'm like, wow, I see more of that connection, because you're trying to be a better person through martial arts or Freemasonry. And then you try the other one, whether it's martial arts and Freemasonry, and you see more of that concept. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to do this, that, and the other. Make me better so I can make everyone else better.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like our creed. Our creed at our dojo was, I promise never to use martial arts except in self-defense. Courage is my emblem. Dignity is my way. Confidence is my light. I promise to develop my skills so that others may benefit from my existence. Whether it be verbal or physical, it's the same meeting of the minds per se when it comes to Masonry. When we meet
Yeah.
a brother on the level, or even when we meet a stranger who hasn't come into the fold yet, we're still taught to treat him with that same amount of courtesy and courtesy and
Right.
respect.
You
in
know,
general.
when we become Freemasons, we are taught, to be better men, to be upstanding gentlemen, in society and everything. It is the same. Any true martial artist, that is one of the main things. Is you have to carry yourself in a certain way. I don't want to say obligations, but when you join, when you go to a dojo or whatever, and you learn under a master, a sifu, whatever, you promise them things, that I will not bring disrespect
Right.
to this dojo.
Right.
When you become a Freemason, you make that I will not bring disrespect to the brotherhood,
Right.
to the fraternity,
Right.
to this lodge, and it's.
You had to say that on this show.
Well-
All right. So anyways, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And the AT Fan Club is back, and we are talking martial arts and Freemasonry when we left off. One thing I want to ask you is, when it comes to ritual in Freemasonry and katas or whatever in martial arts, because I know they all have different sets. I don't know if they're all called katas in every martial art, but what do you see that connects those in Freemasonry when it comes to rituals?
The square movements, obviously, the angles. There's a lot of angles involved in martial arts. Whether you're advancing, retreating, again, the biggest focus though that correlates with each other is the energy, because as you know, as Freemasons, we feel this aura whenever we're in lodge with each other, going through our ritual, opening, closing.
Yeah.
Or if we're doing initiations, or
Yeah,
even
especially at a
visits.
degree, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
feel it in the air, especially when you got a good group going.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it is that energy, again, that life source that combines it. The ultimate end line of it all is that martial arts has always been a way of life for me, just as Freemasonry is a way of life for me as well. I think we all pretty much agreed,
Yeah.
being Master Masons, and most of my brothers here are past masters. I'm not sure
I am
for
not
how
a
long
past
you
master.
haven't traveled yet.
Thanks for rubbing
However,
it in.
but you know,
One day,
when you're
one day.
there, we will
Someday.
love to have you in our past masters
2029.
club.
Yeah.
But it's something, obviously, when you're a martial artist, you know, you get this sense of pride. When you're a Freemason, you advance to a certain degree or level, you have this sense of pride.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not a proud pride, it's just a pride in general that you're just happy where you're at that time. You know, how you feel and mentally, physically, and that you're stabilized. So, getting back though, like the square corners when we're doing our rod shifts and everything else like that as well. You know, obviously there are some weapons involved in martial arts. Weaponry in any type of martial art is just an extension of the body, right? Because obviously it's a physical art form. It's an art form in general. That's why it's called martial arts.
Right.
Yeah.
Martial military, which means war. Art, which is the format. You put it together, and you got this beautiful conception that was created. It's been around for thousands of years already.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
not something
Yeah,
that's come up overnight. You know, again, being that where we're at in the Western civilization, when it came to us in different forms and different formats, again, Bruce Lee was like the first quote unquote mixed martial artist, right?
Yeah.
However, you get MMA fighters out there now that some have traditional form studies in karate mixed with boxing, mixed with kickboxing, mixed with grappling and wrestling and jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Something else that became popular was Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That became
was
very
very
popular.
for a long time. Yeah.
Very popular.
You know what? Real quick on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, not that it's not a beautiful art form, not that it's not important or blah, 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 this or that. A lot of the rise to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is it worked with the rise of the UFC, and there was a handful of really good fighters back-to-back that were claiming that discipline. I'm certain if there was 4 champions back-to-back that were claiming Kenpo, it would have picked up just the same. It just became a very good household term. The same way Texas Hold'em became a household term when the tournament went on TV.
Yeah.
So getting to the BJJ aspect is that it actually was formatted from original judo style jiu-jitsu. All right, from Japan, like Helene Gracie, who was the grandmaster of it, Royce Gracie's father, like the head of the Gracie family, was what, 5'3", 125 pounds, and had no other way of like, how can I develop a concept to, you know, subdue my opponent, right?
Right.
So he had this sense, and it was like, okay, well, he's going to use that opponent's own energy. Again, we're getting back to the energy, sir.
Right.
Against himself and manipulate in a sense, right? And be able to deceive and subdue his opponent and, you know, go to victory. One thing about martial arts is that us in the West, we have commercialized it a lot. You know,
Oh, yeah.
We've commercialized a lot through the Olympics. We've commercialized a lot through UFC.
We commercialize anything we
through
touch.
boxing,
Yeah, how can we sell
karate
this?
tournaments, you know. I mean, the last karate tournament I was involved in as a competitor, I must have been like 17. You know, we outgrew that as children. We still had our invitationals over the past few years, you know, within local groups around us, you know, so that the kids still have a different feel instead of just training like it's us 5 training all the time. Well, let's bring another 5 and let's start, you know, having them beat us and we beat them.
That's how you learn.
So that exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you trade skills.
Yeah.
Same thing when we're going over our catechisms. What are we doing? You're questioning me.
Right.
I'm giving you answers. When we're doing ritual and practices, what are you doing? Okay, you're serving this role at this time. This is how you walk. This is how you march. This is how you purgate.
Well, but as you're talking dojo to dojo, one of the best parts of being a Master Mason is traveling to other lodges and kind of feeling their vibes and seeing what they're about and what they're
Exactly.
into.
Little small.
And then
hints here and
that's
there.
another thing when you travel to different dojos, you know, there is a, like how when you go to another lodge, there is a pecking order, you know, you abide by that, you know, you don't just show up and be like, you know, I run
top
this.
dog,
You know?
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Cobra
matter who you know. Well, okay, like you know, just because
Show enough.
show enough. You know, just because you walk into a lodge and you're a past master of your lodge, you don't go there and disrespect the current worshipful master. You know, or any of the officers. You're not an officer there. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And
you
the same
shouldn't,
thing
but we know it
with
happens.
martial arts. You know, when you go, you could be a black belt, but when you go to another dojo and they line up, you know, you wait to be placed. You know, you go to the end of the line until you are placed where your degree is. You know, you get a degree. You know, and that's how it is.
Our levels to it.
Yeah.
I mean, level is a term we use in both, and just life in general. But so
Yeah.
as you mentioned,
First
the degrees,
degree brown
yeah.
belt, first degree black,
Yeah.
second
There's
degree.
different
I
levels
mean,
of different
so-
degrees.
Which is funny the whole time here. I'm not as well learned in you in anything. I had a decent stint till I discovered what drugs, alcohol, partying, and chasing chicks were in my young teens. At Ken's Karate on 95th Street, studied Kempo, got up to my green
Oh, you
belt.
studied Kempo too?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Ken's on 95th and Evergreen Park, still there. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I said that like
Shout
he's paying
out.
me.
Yeah,
Ken, you owe me money.
Shout out.
That's where I did it
Shout
too.
out.
What, really?
Yeah, his name was Rick or something. Like
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Ken was the original guy. Okay, wow, we'll get into that after the show.
All right.
Small world here.
But no, I was actually thinking about when you get presented your white skin, your lambskin or white leather apron in Lodge, I'm fairly certain I got a damn near identical speech when I got my white belt. Damn, or the same theory, the same
It is.
vibe got
If
portrayed.
you
It
think
is.
about it, you wear that white belt for a little while until it starts, changing
Turning
colors,
colors, right.
In the aspect
Right.
of martial arts. So,
Yeah,
it's the
historically.
same thing with the apron up, triangle and squared. So,
Yep. Yeah, historically that was the way it was you wear your white belt until it changes color, and then ultimately it would change back from just auto wear and tear over time. We, again, Western civilization, we've developed this system where,
where we can make money and change the colors on our own.
yeah, pay me a little more, pay me a little extra, you'll get a stripe on it next week, you know what I'm saying? But you got to show me you can break 2 boards instead of 1. you know?
Yeah.
So
Or you
really-
see, like when I took Taekwondo, it was you learned. How can I put this in? Okay, you in Freemasonry, you get your first degree. When you were a white belt, you were learning a particular kata to get out of the white to the yellow.
Yep.
Your next degree.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And that's kind of
So all the forms in different arts, whether it's a kata or a form or a
Yeah.
session, there's different terminologies,
Yeah.
right? But it is, as we advance through degrees and rituals, it's the same format. As we saw, there's certain things that are tweaked from 1, 2, and 3, right? And I can only speak on 1, 2, and 3, and I can also speak on whatever we've done with Grotto as far as that ritual is concerned, right?
Right.
But it's the same concept in the martial arts as well, where you're training, like Yoshi said, you get this basic format of your first kata. It's just a block, a stance, and a strike. A block, a stance, and a strike, right? Depending on the motion, depending on the movement, might be 1, 2, or 3 times. Depending on the level of it, again, to your ranking at that time, it might be 1, 2, or 3 times. So that number portion as well plays a big part, obviously not only in all world studies, but in the correlation between rising through your degrees and working with the forms and how we're doing it. You know?
Right.
And whenever you earn the new belt, even if it is commercialized or whatever,
cool.
it meant something. It really did. I know there's certain disciplines have certain traditions when you earn your belt. But whenever you got that next belt, man, it felt great. And same thing when you got a new degree.
Oh, yeah.
Every time, every degree, every order I've received, every whatever, it's like, man, yeah.
We
it
get
was-
that. We get that. We
you
get
know.
that. What we say our life trophy, right? Being the belt, or if you got that knowledge, growing through masonry, you got that knowledge. Funny thing is that they both come with a certificate, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's fun. yeah.
You get a piece of paper with your name on it, certificate of achievement.
Yeah.
I got like thousands in my bookcase at home. And it's like my wife's like, "Why don't you give it to me?" I was like, "No, this is me. This is
Yeah,
mine. I'm proud of
like,
this." You know?
but again, to everybody else in the world, it's just a piece of paper. But to you, no, it means a lot more than just a piece of paper.
Yep. And if you touch on that tune about it being a way of life, it is a personal, again, achievement. It's a personal
Yes.
advancement.
Yes.
It's a great thought and something that everybody loves to have.
It might just be a piece of paper, but that piece of paper also represents what you've been through. The blood, sweat, tears, if you want to call
How
it
you
that.
traveled.
All the training,
Yeah.
everything. Anybody can sign it, yeah. But did you actually do that?
Right.
And that's what that piece of paper represents.
Yeah.
So.
It's all about earning it. You earn your belt, you earn your certificate, and you know what? In a sense, I mean, if you really think about it, you earn your degree. I mean, any good lodge, if you don't show proficiency, you're not getting
You're not
that
gonna
next
advance.
degree.
You're
You're
not
not
advancing.
advancing.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
there's rituals to that.
Yep.
I mean, you got to show. Oh, do you know it? Because then it's just a money grab thing.
Yeah.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
money involved, but okay, we'll take your money, but you're not going to get it until you deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see that's the one problem is like, again, how we've talked before, you got to find the right lodge. You got to
find the right dojo.
You got to find the right dojo.
Yeah.
You could walk into a dojo, talk to, the sensei there, or whatever, and you either get that feeling like I'm going to learn here or
You're gonna
I'm
be
just going to
waxing
drop
off
money
for
here.
6 months.
Wax on, baby.
Be like, when you walk in there and you're like, man, I'll have a black belt in like 2 years. That's not good.
So my first black belt was when I was 12.
Your first.
My first black belt was when I was 12, and I turned it in when I joined the actual dojo.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, I'm going to a new place to study. It's time to start pretty much fresh off, wash over. My grandmaster's like, remember what you know, but forget what you learned.
Oh, wow.
And we kind of had that same mental concept when we want to become and be brought from darkness to light in Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
yeah, that's wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll just leave it. I mean, I got, as you know, a couple black belts. I'm not gonna publicize myself too much.
Say it off. I mean,
I like to remain humble.
No, it is humbling, but
All right, let's keep it real.
very impressive.
He's got more black belts in the men's warehouse.
Pretty good concept.
I don't know. I'm impressed by it.
Pretty good concept.
I've
I've actually invented my own philosophy as well and named my own style of art as well. It's called Shotokan Jiu-Jitsu.
I thought it was TJ Kundo.
Only after hours. With the wife, of course. No funny stuff, Marty. So Shotokan Jiu-Jitsu is translated by the way of the truth.
Okay.
And being that we have Freemasonry in our bloods, we all know what truth symbolizes and means to us as a being, I have a tattoo of a symbol with a dragon and this Chinese symbol of truth inside the dragon shaped like a sun. Sun being the energy. I mean, it's a big concept to me and something I've had for a very, very, very long time.
So how long do you get the midnight infomercials going? You should.
We're here to pump you up.
Dude, if that Billy Banks guy got paid, you get paid.
Oh, man, I love Billy Blanks. Growing up, he did a lot of great. Thank you. He was a good part. I mean, even though it was, again, commercialized, you know what I'm saying? So, like, Billy Blanks, Jackie Chan, Jet Li.
They all made great movies.
Jean-Claude. I mean, these guys that do these action films, they're tremendous. Lucy Lau. I mean, the list just goes on and on from male to female people.
Yep.
Hey, hold on. Shout out Sonny Chiba. Let's go old
Sonny
school.
Chiba. Oh,
Sonny
man.
Chiba.
Yeah. Any Shaw Brothers film, obviously, you know what I'm saying? The Shaws were very involved.
Yeah.
There's rumors in the past that some of these guys obviously were Masons and stuff like that, right?
That's what I wanted to ask. I was going to say, how many fighters and Masons do you see? Is there a bigger correlation out there?
There's not that huge of a correlation. I mean, because
I know a
you got to
few.
remember, I know a few as well. But there's this thing, not only where we're at, that we have clandestines, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But obviously the Chinese, where martial arts is huge,
Yeah.
they have what they consider to be something that's Masonically labeled, but it's a whole nother avenue and a deeper
Like the
structure.
Masonic Lodge in Chinatown.
Exactly.
Which is actually just a front for the triads. Please don't kill me.
Oh, God.
Like in that sense.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I guess in the Chinese sense, the Guai Lo would have been like the clandestines. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It makes more sense now. I'm not going to get into the term, but I looked it
Guai
up,
Lo
I
was
get
just
it.
foreign.
But now that we're putting this together, it's like, okay, now I'm seeing it in a different way instead of just. It's like,
Well, kind of keep in mind, though, when we talk about how stuff got passed on, the version of Masonry that we currently practice is really just from the Grand Lodge of England. That's where it started. We kind of took it in America, did a little bit of our own thing with it. But that really doesn't count all the Masonic-esque bodies that were sprung around it that had slightly different ideals, slightly different rituals. Yeah. There's probably a lot of stuff that has gone on in a lot of dojos, a lot of initiations, a lot of different things that are probably 85% of what we're doing, but taken in a different thing. And the only reason that we're really not recognizing it is through the system that we came up in.
Yeah.
yeah. things change throughout the years. Like, I'm sure martial arts has.
Oh, it's
They've
evolved.
probably
It's-
changed the
it's
style,
evolved. It's
even though
evolved.
it's still called.
Bruce
like
Lee
Kung
used to
Fu.
be
It's probably gone
controversial.
through
All right.
many
Well,
different
Kung Fu
styles.
Kung Fu has many different variations from Shaolin to Wing Chun to Hung Gar, just because of basically region had a lot to do with it. Same thing with the Okinawan and Japanese portions of it. Depends on region, depends on family structure. There's different terms that were developed back then. Again, you look at somebody doing a Taekwondo front kick, you look at somebody doing a karate front kick, you look at somebody doing a Kung Fu front kick, it's the same freaking front kick. Same thing with American kickboxers, it's the same front kick. Bring your knee up,
Right.
extend, back, snap,
There's
down.
a foundation.
Yeah. So, only thing that changes again, besides the wording, are some of the forms, because again, throughout history, people develop their own, they learn their own. Touching on what Brother Marty said about like how we learn Freemasonry, in the old format, it's always been, by word of mouth, or by
Mouth to ear.
mouth to
It
ear,
was always
or
mouth
like,
to ear.
presenting somebody and stuff like that when you're doing practices and whatnot, right, and for ritual. Again, same thing with the martial arts, as you're training somebody. I mean, I talk to you more than what I show you right now, because you're just at that first step level, right?
Right.
So it's like I want you to understand some of the concepts as I'm speaking them to you. Same way of being taught. Teacher talks, instructor speaks, student listens, right?
Yeah.
So there's that connection there as well.
Right, because there's also, there's one thing mimicking somebody and watching them and repeating it, but if you don't know the deeper things about it, you're not going to get
You're not gonna get it.
why you're doing it. Because I could just sit there and follow you do this and
Right.
and all that.
Right.
I could make a comedy out of it,
Yeah.
but I don't know the foundation, the deeper meaning behind it. And let's face it, we all need to learn deeper meanings behind a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of what we do in Freemasonry and building ourselves is, in general, for
Yeah,
our character.
Yeah, because like I said, when I was a kid, we were talking off camera about no retreat, no surrender. And if you don't know the movie, watch it. And within the first 5 minutes, Jean-Claude Van Damme is the bad guy, and he goes after the martial
That was like
arts
one of his
teacher.
first movies.
That
Yeah.
was his first
And the martial arts teacher is like, karate is for defense only. And even though I don't practice karate like I did when I was young, it still sticks with me. Because you're right. Just because you know this doesn't mean you should go and attack everybody.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Freemasonry. Just because you know maybe some esoteric stuff, or you've got this title and that, should you really be trying to attack somebody with that knowledge? No, you shouldn't.
In a weird way, I think from a martial arts perspective and a Masonic perspective, there's two code words or two things you pick up on when someone walks in and that like, this guy ain't for this. You don't want the guy walking up to a Mason lodge asking for business connections.
Right.
And you don't want the guy showing up to a dojo trying to be Billy Badass.
Yeah. Very true.
Just get his ass kicked. I've seen that so many times.
But no, but you don't want someone like, well, I'm going to learn this so I can be a good bar fighter. Well, like, no, that's not what this is.
Yeah, you already lost all credibility with that. You know?
Yeah, so don't walk into your lodge and tell me you want to be Billy Badass, because it's just not going to happen.
Don't go to your dojo and ask for business connections.
Don't ask for the third degree at the dojos. So with that brings us to our favorite time, shout out and shouts out. Does anybody have anything?
I got one.
Oh, shit.
Since we're talking about fighting, dude, we'll give a shout out to a brother, Pat Miletich, UFC Hall of Famer. He is a Freemason.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's from the Quad Cities. So
All right. Pat Miletich?
Oh.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Pat Miletich.
Militich. Okay.
Miletich, yeah.
I know who
Fighting
you're-
systems, yeah.
Can I give one more martial
Yeah,
artist?
hit it out.
Brother Parrish, King Oscar Lodge, actually played Jax in the Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I actually
very
got-
cool.
Yeah, he was the mocap for Jack. Like, you know how they took pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's actually legit though.
Oh no, yeah, he's a
Yeah.
martial artist. I've met him a few times. He's a really
Real
great
good guy.
Real
Do you
good
have
guy.
anybody you want to?
Yeah, Tommy, you're
I
the
know I'm
guest.
putting you on the
Shout
spot.
out to at Refreshment for having me.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you guys.
All right, everyone.
Salute.
Woot woot.
Clink.
Karate.
Wow, that was
Woo.
way smoother than I thought it
Yeah,
was
what?
going to be.
That tasted
I
like
was
coffee.
like, whew,
What was
that
that?
thing looked
Peanut
What was
butter?
that? Steph, what was this?
Peanut butter jelly shot.
Yum.
And it tastes like coffee. It was great. All right. Well, with that, we are out of here. Everyone, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Buzzsprout, all that fun stuff. So, comment if you didn't hear Mark say that. Once again, thank you for watching, and of course, we're going to be back with more.
Our sound guy's eating a bowl of chili while we did this. I don't think that was fair.
Not fair at all. Have a good night, everyone.